First off, let's talk a bit about the Afcon, the upcoming Afcon.
Well, I would say in terms of infrastructures, I think they are more than ready, actually. I think they could even host it, as we say in French, they could even host it tomorrow if he had to start, tomorrow. They have built everything in favor of that, to be ready at the right moment in terms of infrastructures. Some games are already sold out, actually, notably the games of a few North African teams, I think Tunisia and Morocco naturally, and Algeria, something like this, due to the short distance between the countries. Um, on the sporting aspect, I think also they are ready, they are leaving maybe the biggest momentum in the history of Moroccan football, actually. Now the pressure is maximal, and it is on the shoulders of the senior team, which is running after a trophy which is eluding them since almost half a century, and moreover of the fact that the roster is very good. They have two or multiple choices at every I would say at every position on the field, and maybe there's one concern. Maybe the concern can be the fact that they have, and I think if you saw those games during the qualifiers, they have this difficulty, I would say, to break down blocks. We saw that against Niger. We saw that also in the Afcon qualifiers and even in the World Cup qualifiers. But when they manage to break them, I think they are pretty much steamrolling the opponents. But that's the main concern, with the fact that also that plenty fans are saying this thing, the fact that they haven't faced any. With all my due respect for the opponents they faced, they haven't faced any, I would say, credible opposition since a long time. But that's I think that's due to the format of the qualifiers. Yeah.
So you mentioned that the Afcon obviously has eluded them in the past years.
Mm.
Now they have the opportunity to try and host and win the competition. Um, what do you think they must do right to be able to appease the home fans when it comes to hosting the Afcon on home soil?
Well, I think, and I have discussed with a lot of Spora members, that anything less than the trophy would be a failure, actually. So, personally, I don't share this opinion, because when it comes to later stages of a competition, must do, it's a psychological, I would say, factor, because they have always failed, recently, even previously at the quarterfinals march, always they always crumbled in some crazy manners. When you remember 2019, they lost against Benin. It was in a round of 16. Apologies. 2021, they were eliminated by Egypt. Last year also they were also eliminated by South Africa. So they have to break this barrier. And secondly, I think personally that, and that's what I said in the previous minutes, they have this I would say this tactical battle that they will have to answer, being able to break down blocks, because let's be honest, what Morocco will face during the Afcon, and I think we'll see that, apologies, on Sunday against Comoros, they will face team waiting for them. Basically, you will rarely see a team which will play them an eye to an eye, which will take the ball from them, etc., etc., notably in the group stages, and with all the pressure around in the stadium. So I think that's their main concern, how to find the key to break down those blocks. Because I said, when they manage to take the lead quickly, or when they manage to break down those blocks, they are very tough to stop. But they will have to find this key, to break those blocks, and to have and after that they will be at full gas. We saw that. So I think those two problems are the two keys for Morocco to win or at least to do a great competition. Because for me, if they reach the semi-finals and break this barrier, I think for me this Afcon will be on the sporting aspect a success. But as said seconds ago, it's not an opinion which is shared by a lot of Moroccans, whether in the press or among the regular fans.
So let's look at their dominance across all disciplines. 2025 has been a great year for Morocco,
Mm.
but even when we look back, I think that they've done some massive work back
Yeah,
home, and
yeah,
it is attracting a lot of plaudits all across the world.
absolutely.
Um, their under 20 team won the World Cup,
Yeah,
um, equaling Ghana's record of being the only African to have won it.
absolutely.
Um, we saw the women's national team also qualifying for the World Cup and all of that. What is the rationale behind this Moroccan dominance lately?
Well, I would say, this dominance is the fruit of a strategy, which has been put in place. I would say since 2015, when you remember, when they were excluded from the Afcon that they couldn't host due to the Ebola, in 2015, they decided after that, to invest. The government, there was few years before, the Academy of His Royal Highness, the King of Morocco, Mohammed the Sixth, which was created, but it didn't bear fruits immediately because it was 7 or 8 year old. The academy was this young, but starting from 2015 and that that battle with CAF in a certain way, they decided to put the money and to have a real plan, a real strategy, and we saw that, immediately, quickly after that, with the success, of Wydad, of Raja, of Borken, also in the African continental and club scene, with all those titles, those final, and finally after that, it started to be seen on the national teams, whether it's on the in women football, in the Shan team, which won 2028, 18 apologies at home, 2022, and the recent also Shan. So they started to bear fruits, and now basically the final piece of the puzzle is missing. Basically the we say in French and in Arabic, the vitrine of the national football is the national team. You know that in Africa notably, and the senior team now has the opportunity to complete this puzzle with that final piece which is missing, which is this Afcon, which after which they are running since half a century, apologies. So yeah, and they are doing things right, because it's a blend, it's a perfect blend of diaspora players. As you saw a few of them, you see them in the national team and even in the youth teams, and and local players, notably the youngsters. That we saw in the under 20 Afcon World Cup, apologies, because you saw a lot of players of this team which were formed, notably I think the winner of the Golden Ball was formed in Morocco, I think in Touarega or something like this, or in Mohammed the Sixth Academy, sorry. So yeah, it's an interesting blend, moreover of the fact of the massive invest, it's a government, planning, etc. In the hand, with the FA, and now they are bearing the fruit, and it's good to see a country which is working well, bearing the fruits, because I love to say that if you harvest, if you sow potatoes, in your garden, you harvest potatoes. But if you do not care and take care of your garden, you will only get weed all around your garden. So they are reaping what they are sowing, and now they are missing this final and this late this last piece of the puzzle, and it will, what a great opportunity it can be to have an Afcon at home to do that, because, let's not forget also that they are hosting the World Cup in 2030. So it will be an interesting, they are also building for that, notably with that generation which won the last under 20 World Cup.
All right. So you mentioned how strong of a team they are building, and
Mm.
you would want to look at their local leagues as well,
Mm.
especially with Ridad and Raja.
Yeah.
I think they are contributing massively to how strong the team is has become over the years. Even in the CAF Champions League and Confederations Cup, they are dominating. How significant has the production of local players been to feeding the national team?
Well, in terms of local players, feeding the national team, I think, and that's the paradox, with Raja, Wydad, and the Moroccan team. It's paradoxal because, when they were at their best, I think you remember that period from 2015 to 2023 or something like this, because it's the last trophy won by one of them, I think. Let's not forget Borken also. But the players aren't selected, sadly, or haven't been even given a proper chance. Bare two or three like Yahya Atiyatullah, who was a star at the World Cup. The rest, weren't given a proper chance, notably offensively speaking. Maybe personally, I think that lots of them, notably those, who won the Chan, etc., should have got a proper shot, notably in 2019 with when Morocco team was, I would say, less good, less good than it is currently. I think those Wydad players, etc., Raja, should have been given a fair chance and a real shot by Hervé Renard. But currently, with the amount of talent they have, notably offensively speaking, I think it's tough to integrate them. Even more, as Raja and Wydad aren't as producing as much players, or aren't as good as in the past during that golden era. So it's a bit complicated.
Let's look at the Moroccan head coach, Walid Ouagragui. Um, I think he has played an important role in seeing the Moroccan national team to where they are today. Um, what kind of quality does he bring to this Moroccan team? And at the back of what Ashraf Hakimi has done for the national team,
Mm.
especially winning the CAF African Best Player, how do we juxtapose the two, and how is it going to help them heading into the Afcon?
You said perfectly, Walid Regragui is doing some decent, more than job, at the Hell Moroccan team, because let's not forget that he's not coming out. He built during his time in Morocco, Also, because let's get that he led Wydad to the Champions League in 2022 against, it was against Al Ahly. Before, of Moroccan team just a few weeks before the World Cup in I think it was in September 2022 or something like this, or in summer. So he's not coming out of the blue. He had his courses in Europe, but he made his craft in Africa, notably in the Champions League, in the CAF Confederation Cup with us, or with that. So he's not coming out of the blue. He has a pedigree. He's not coming out of the blue. He has a pedigree, and and yeah, I think his main quality are the fact that his team are always solid. It's not very lovely to the eye, etc. Because it was the case with Wydad or even with Fusaraba. It wasn't easy to the eye, but the teams are very tough to break down. Very tough, and that's his main quality. And concerning Ashraf Hakimi, I think he will be. He has a lot of pressure, because let's not forget that he missed the penalty against South Africa during the last Afcon, penalty, I think, which would have changed things. So yeah, they have everything, everything in their favor, notably the fact that they are tough to break, which is a quality, an important quality for a team, to if you want to go far in a competition, even more when you are at home. Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I think it's perfectly explained. What should we expect generally with the hosting of the Afcon from the political side of things? How should the fans embrace what is about to happen in Morocco? In preparation wise, what should
Mhm.
we expect? And even for the African countries coming to the
Mm.
coming to Morocco to experience the Afcon, what should we expect?
Well, I think personally that it will be uh, and knowing the hospitality of the Moroccan people, etc. On outside the field, I think it will be a formidable experience, because they are great people. They are a very welcoming country, moreover the fact that they have the infrastructures, the touristic infrastructures, etc. in order to host the millions of tourists that they are welcoming every year, because it's a very known destination. So I think, yeah, on this aspect, I think everything will be formidable, hopefully. On the political aspect, I doubt, that it will, the political figures will have an impact. I think we will see personally His Royal Highness the King in the first game, in the opening game, to say to open the Afcon, etc., to pronounce a speech, etc. But after that, I think we won't see him, because he has bigger fishes to fry, if you can say. So yeah, I think it will be a great Afcon, obviously, because moreover, because and that's a different thing, from the previous Afcon, is the fact that you will have lots of diaspora fans, African diaspora apologies. So it will make this blend between the diaspora persons and the local. So it will be interesting to see that. Personally, and everything is deserved to have a formidable Afcon, whether the pitches, the players, the fans, etc. So I only hope that it will be by the grace of God.
I think that will be all for now.
That's
Um,
nice. That's nice.
yes. In if anything, I'll reach out so that we.
Yeah, with pleasure. Even during the Afcon, don't hesitate. Obviously, I will be as I'm taking a leave, for Afcon as usual. I will be available, God willing. Yeah.